Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. My name's Fabrice, or Fab for short, and I'm the Customer Relations Manager for the Mount Atkinson community. On behalf of the Stockland team, just want to thank you all for attending tonight. Would also like to thank everyone who submitted questions prior to tonight's event via the document form, which was sent around towards the end of last week. I know most of the community have had a lot of questions that they wanted answered, so we're going to look to answer most of those in tonight's session. Shortly, I'll pass the mic across to Phil from our development team, who will provide you with an update, everything Mount Atkinson, covering items such as stage registration progress, the Mount Atkinson Vision Centre, and other key amenity updates. We'll then hand the mic over to Mark from our partner Edmund Rice Services, who will provide you information about what services they actually offer to the community, activities which are accessible to you all also at the Edmund Rice Homestead, as well as a quick chat about the recently commenced community bus service. After that, we'll circle back to myself and Phil from our development team, just for a quick Q&A session, and we'll look to hopefully answer everything else that we didn't cover throughout the evening. Should you have any further questions, or you feel like we've missed something in tonight's session, there'll be contact details posted up on the screen later today. With that said, I'll now pass it across to Phil from our development team to provide you all an update. Over to you, Phil.
Thanks, Fab, and thank you to everyone who took time to sign in and listen tonight. I think there's about 50 of you, so that's really great turnout. So quickly about me, I'm Phil, so I'm a development professional at Mount Atkinson. So I'm part of the development team, which includes Anthony as well as Callum and a couple others. So yeah, pleased to be able to join you guys tonight and give you a quick update on the project for Mount Atkinson as it stands. So yeah, let's hop through to the next slide, and we'll come through and give you an update on some of the upcoming stages for 2022. So starting from the top, a couple of you on the call, I'm sure, of purchases in stage 28. So we're currently imminently going to lodge that stage for registration. We're just waiting for final documentation before we can lodge that one. So yeah, we're still expecting registration and settlement sort of in mid-August at the time for now. So moving through to some of our future stages, stage 18, if we could just hop back one, thank you. So stage 18 is tracking quite well. It's up to 11 comms, road boxing's done and curb has gone in. So we're looking at a December to January next year registration at the current time. Stages 15 and 20 and 21 are sort of all tracking similar, currently at road construction. So 15B and 21 are looking at March to May 2022, with stage 20 just a little ahead, looking at December this year to Jan next year. Moving through to some of the other stages, we've got stage 22, that's at sewer and drainage, looking at registering at the moment in April to June next year. And then we have stage 23, 24, 25, which are commencing through the earthwork stage, looking at registration sort of in May to July or June to August next year. So if we'd like to hop through to the next slide, we'll just touch on a couple key amenity items to update you guys on. So first off the rank is the Vision Centre. So really exciting to announce that the Vision Centre is open, and we've just finished the landscaping in the last couple of weeks, so it's looking really, really tidy. We'll show you a photo in a moment of what it's looking like, but unfortunately we did complete it right as we went into the most recent lockdown, so we haven't been able to welcome you guys in just yet, but when it's safe to do so, yeah, we'll look to welcome you guys in there. So other items that we've got on the agenda is the stage 7 park. So we're currently undertaking design consultation at the moment for that. We're really excited about that park as it's a key piece we're really excited to deliver. So that's obviously the park located central to the project off Clara Avenue. So we're expecting to commence construction on that one in sort of early mid next year. So yeah, really excited about that. And then the stage 18 park will also follow that in the design process. So the next update, which is quite a big one, what they're really excited to announce to you guys, is the active open space and the community centre that's coming to Mount Atkinson. So very recently, you may have seen in the news, the City of Melton announced that they just received just over $3.7 million worth of funding which 2.5 is going towards the active open space, which is really exciting. The active open space will include a sports pavilion, playground, car parking and passive recreation space. And then the community centre, which received just over $800,000 worth of funding, which is another exciting piece that we'll be able to, council will be delivering for us, which will include a kindergarten and maternal children health services provisions as well as a few other playgroup items as well. Now, moving through, some of the other amenity is the community bus, but I'll leave Mark to shed some exciting news on that. And finally, the wetlands. We've completed the planning in the wetlands near stage 5 and stage 3. So that's looking fantastic at the moment. It's ready for you guys to walk around and enjoy. And all the temp fencing's come down. So yeah, she's ready to go, which is great news. If we could just hop through to the next slide. We've just got a photo of the Vision Centre, which, as I said, we've just finished the landscaping on. So you can see there it's looking really, really tidy. And we can't wait to welcome you guys in there. So part of that, there'll be that'll replace our old sales centre. So just a quick note for anyone that's not aware, the current sales centre is now closed, and we are now directing people to the Vision Centre, which is our new sales centre as well. So if you scroll to the next slide, the other exciting piece that we'd like to announce is that the Vision Centre playground is on the way. So that's commencing in November this year. And this is a render of what it's going to look like. So this is sort of looking at it from Grand Boulevard. It's just tucked in the corner of Grand Boulevard behind the Vision Centre on McKinley Drive. So yeah, really great and excited to deliver that piece of amenity for you guys. And you can see that there's a heap going on, all sorts of play equipment for the kids. And the future cafe is conveniently overlooking the playground. So parents, you can all get a well-deserved rest and keep a close eye on the kids. So that's the main items that we'd like to cover for the amenity update. Except there's actually one more we'll touch on. If you could just touch on the next slide, is the Westfield. So there's always questions about the Westfield. So as a bit of an update on that one, just as a reminder, it is being delivered by Centre Group, so outside of Stockland. Currently, as we understand it, they're going through the urban design framework process with council. So basically that's a sort of a strategic plan. And once they finish that works, which is about 12 months, they'll commence their planning application process, which is really, really exciting. And that'll be a great milestone. So when we get some future updates on that, we will be sure to update you guys as soon as we can. So that's all from me. So I might hand over to Mark for a community update.
Thanks, Phil. And yeah, really nice to be with you all tonight on Tuesday night after your day at work or school, looking after the kids with dinner. So thanks for having me in your home if you are joining in from home. And me, myself, I've just come in from the Aboriginal Youth Cultural Program that we run here at the Homestead. So Edmund Rice Services is based at the Homestead just off Griggs Road. And Michael and Laura work with me here, and we're a not-for-profit organisation, and we really try to do two things, and that's support the greater area of Melton, and sometimes that connects us in with people even into Brimbank and Wyndham, but also to support the community of Mount Atkinson, and certainly ends up going across to Grandview. And the picture you've got in front of you is of Mount Atkinson Community Centre, which has in the bottom left-hand corner what is a typical shed, but it's going to become an indoor rec facility. In the right-hand corner is our 100-year-old homestead, which doubles as our office, and also the commencement of our community centre. And if you look quite well amongst the trees, there's two older buildings there that are heritage listed, and later this year, we have got good plans to renovate those into other facilities that can be more passive around art and craft, group programs that we will use, but also can be used for public purposes as well. And in the middle there, open space that we'd really love to connect and utilise with community, from maybe an outdoor cinema in the coming months when it gets warmer, markets, community programs, events, etc. So this space is just accessed off Griggs Road and really is at the commencement point of us running some programs. And yeah, we look to engage you guys, residents, as well. So we'll move to the next slide. Thanks. So you may have seen this from Greig's Road, but also understand if you haven't. And this is our high ropes course, which is right near the homestead, which is pretty exciting and might be terrifying for some, and I get that, and that's okay. But this high ropes course is set up as an experiential course that we use on our programs, but also we hope that can connect into community as well. Different ideas might be birthday parties, we might just get some community in, and if Stockland staff are even brave enough, we might get them out having a go. And this course typically, it's not quite fun-based, it's a bit more experiential. So an opportunity to learn about yourself, learn about others, and there's lots of activities there from 7 metres high through to 11 metres high. Some are individual, some are team-based. So I thought it'd be good to show you that excitement element and to really to show you a bit of our background, that we're really keen on the recreation at Edmund Rice. Thanks, and next slide. So part of my involvement tonight is to try and let you know a bit more about Edmund Rice and how it can connecting with yourselves at home and neighbours and even into the community beyond Mount Atkinson. So on the left-hand side is just a slide that covers an Aboriginal youth homework program that we've started up with an organisation called Kirrip Aboriginal Corporation. They're based in Melton South, and they've got lots of energy around connecting with community, around reconciliation and us moving forward. And just a point of interest is that Mount Atkinson land on the 1st of July just this year was recognised as Wurundjeri country. So we'd like to bring this sort of placemaking into you guys, into the community, and a way of also getting involved with us and the greater community is maybe through some volunteering. And this is just one example of a homework program that we've just got up and running recently on a Monday. And we've got others operating throughout the week, and we certainly hope to have more in the future. And on the right-hand side is an archery day that we held last school holidays, and we tried to send that through the Mount Atkinson residents, and we want to try and increase that more so that you guys know about this more. And we had a couple of residents join us, and we went on for a little walk around the property doing some adventure field archery. And the interest out of that was that some residents would actually value an archery club. So we'd like to listen to community and maybe explore about how we can get that up and going. So just a little example of us connecting with community. And next slide again, please. We also have an art group here on site at Mount Atkinson at the homestead. It's on a Monday. It's for adults, this art program, and it's quite flexible. So during lockdown, it actually goes online. So we've got the link there for the art group Facebook page. You'd be really welcome to connect with that. And we're especially a group where you don't have to be the most amazing artists. So we really welcome people to connect in, have an enjoyment, even just a little interest to explore art. Well, you'd be really welcome. It's a diverse group, so some are a couple of residents from the greater area and get to meet up. And part of the catching up is just to simply meet people and enjoy each other's company, enjoy a bit of art, and the art group actually sometimes facilitate the program themselves. You don't have to, but there's lots of choice. So there's lots of group involvement in that. So you'd be welcome to get involved if that's your thing. Next one, thank you. So this is a little picture from inside the shed that also that art was shown. And this is only a couple of days old, where we've turned the shed into a bit more of an indoor space that we can do some different activities. So we're lining the shed with some timber, putting some better lights, and sealing the floor. And into the future, we'd really welcome some opportunity to activate that area and make it as available to community. So maybe some table tennis or badminton. I have measured it up, and I think I'm right that it doesn't quite fit the dimensions of indoor cricket or futsal, but you might be willing to have a crack at it to get it going. I've heard interest of Zumba, maybe some cultural dance workshops. So we're keen to hear from community Our website's there. On our website, you'll have different email addresses for Michael, who's our recreation coordinator, Laura's our community development worker, and myself, Mark Monaghan, as the executive officer. So feel free to make contact. We hope that'll be finished in the next couple of weeks. And maybe as the warmer months come in, we can look at hosting some things in there with community. Next slide, thanks. And so, yeah, this slide here, I just thought, take note of the website, meltonlearning.com.au. Part of my interest in connecting with community is to make sure that you know of what's already available to you. And this website is a good central point to learn about different activities that are happening in your local community of probably not so much Mount Atkinson at the moment, but into the greater area of Rockbank, Melton, Caroline Springs. There's cooking classes, there's other learning, there's things for kids, for the older community, weekends, weeknights, during the day. So it'd be worth jumping on that. And as new programs come up in community, it gets hosted up onto this website. So check that out. You might find something of interest in there. And next one. And here's probably the most exciting news, I think, for Edmund Rice and Stockland is the getting this bus up and going, where we've partnered with the Caroline Springs RSL. And this service is operating now. It operates 3 services in the morning, 3 at night. In the photo is Theo, the bus driver, who's very welcoming and has welcomed some residents so far. And that includes some school students, uni students, and people going into the city for work. To book in, you do need to book in via Eventbrite. It helps us to make sure that we're filling the seats and that no one misses out. If you don't need the service anymore, that's okay. Just if you can cancel that service, that helps us out. There has been some bus stops set up at each of the parks of Grizzly Bear Park and one across at Grandview. We've got the full COVID safe plan in place with QR codes, etc. So we're really conscious of the environment we are in at the moment. And the bus is an 11-seater bus. So that's the capacity at the moment. But if we go to the next slide, I'll speak a little bit more detail, is that's our timetable. So starting off 5:57 in the morning, going to Dinosaur Park 6:05, to aim to arrive at the Rockbank station at 6:15 for a train departing at 6:24. So that's an example. We've got 3 services in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. As the take-up increases, we will add to that, but we also recognise Mount Atkinson is quite a geographic size, so we'll also add in some others as well as people move in. And so we've had a couple join in. We'd really welcome people to jump more onto the service. There is no cost involved. The only stop we've had so far is that during a lockdown, when restrictions required, we've stopped that running. And so that bus is operated through Stockland, through the RSL and through ourselves. Theo's very happy to hear from yourselves. So if you've got any feedback, ideas, please feel free to share them with Theo. I catch up with Theo each day and we've already heard some great stories that it's of benefit to you guys. So I think that's me. We're really keen to connect with community and certainly more into the future. And I'll throw back to you, Fab.
Great. Thanks for that, Mark and Phil. Great to hear all the things that we've got going on in the community, especially with that bus service. Mark, more than likely, Stockland will be happy to take you on that ropes course in the future. Right now, we'll cut into our Q&A session with all the community's questions. I think I'll start off nice and easy. Hopefully we can cover everything that everyone submitted. So thanks again to everyone for submitting your questions. Hopefully we've got them all, and hopefully we can give you some answers shortly on them. So first question of the night: With COVID normal re-establishing, what is the plan for in-person events like stage walkthrough, meet and greets, neighbourhood updates, etc.? I'll throw across to you there, Phil, for an update.
Great. Thanks, Fab. Great question. So look, Stockland loves doing community events, and we definitely would have done more of them in the last year if it weren't for COVID and the restrictions that we found ourselves in. But look, we are closely monitoring the health advice, and when it's safe to do so, we'll definitely look to bring events back online. So we're hoping to bring some events to you guys in the spring. And there'll be things such as movie nights, Diwali, Christmas events in the future. But again, it'll all come back to how the COVID situation unfolds. And look, if things stay the way they are, we can always do events online as well. So yeah, there's still plenty in the pipeline. Thanks. Back to you, Fab.
No problem. Thanks for that, Phil. Good to hear that we'll be having community events up and running, and I'm sure most of you residents would be happy to hear that, and you'll be looking forward to those in the springtime. Next question there. Is Stockland taking steps against illegal dumping in the estate? There's increasing amounts of rubbish being dumped in the less visible streets. I'll pass that over to you, Phil, for an answer, please.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Fab. So yeah, look, we at Mount Atkinson, we do actually have a full-time security guard who we instruct to patrol through some of the quieter streets just to discourage this exactly kind of behaviour. And we have security cameras throughout the estates to prevent dumping, as well as signage. So look, it is something that we're monitoring. And look, if you do hear anything, we encourage you to reach out because it'll be a community effort going forward. But yes, it's top of our list, and yeah, we're keeping an eye on it. Thanks. Back to you, Fab.
Thanks for that, Phil. We'll move straight on to the next question. Are the design guidelines being enforced? Will these ever change? Over to you, Phil.
Great question. Thanks, Fab. So the answer to that question is yes, the guidelines are being enforced. So the design guidelines, we do enforce them through submissions that need to be reviewed by the Stockland's design team. So anything from builds to landscaping and driveways, all that is captured in the design guidelines and needs to be reviewed by our team first and foremost. So in terms of will they change, look, for design guidelines in current precincts, they're unlikely to change too much. But obviously, as we move into future precincts, the iterations may be up for review. But yeah, we'll let you know if anything changes. Back to you, Fab.
Thanks for that, Phil. I think the next question sort of ties back into the previous one regarding the guidelines. One of the residents has asked, lots of driveways and landscaping is not done as per the design guidelines. Do we have to get prior approval for any of these? And do you enforce the maintenance of driveway and landscaping? Over to you, Phil.
Great question. Thanks, Fab. So yeah, again, the design guidelines, they do capture the designs for driveways and landscaping, as there are some rules that apply there. So yes, first and foremost, you do need to submit the plans through to our design team, which you can contact at design@stockland.com.au to review your plans first and foremost. Back to you, Fab.
Cool. Thanks for that, Phil. And to anyone else, just to add on to that, if you've got any questions, or you believe that, someone's not following the rules and things like that, feel free to reach out to myself at customer care team at stockland.com.au. And hopefully I'll be able to, to look into any concerns you may have a bit further with our design team. On to the next question. When will the Stage 7 park begin construction? We need a new park to take our kids to. Pass it over to you, Phil, for a response.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Fab. Look, this is one we're really excited about. So this is obviously a great park that's going to be central to the project, just off Clara Ave, as I mentioned. So look, the Stage 7 park, the designs are currently underway. We're consulting with our design teams on what it's going to look like. And so we're hoping to commence on the ground sort of early mid next year. So yeah, it'll pop up before you know it. So really excited. Back to you, Fab.
All right, it's great to hear that there, Phil. Next question, park related also, but this one for the furry friends. Are there plans for a dog park? Across to you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Fab. Look, yeah, we've definitely heard the call outs for a dog park from you guys of recent. So look, we'll take it into account into the designs of our future parks and work with council to see if we can deliver those. Just obviously there's a few extra design and constraints that are tied to dog parks, but yeah, we'll work with council and to deliver on where we can, and we'll provide updates to you guys in the future. Back to you, Fab.
No problem. Thanks for that, Phil. Another one that's asked quite a bit. Are there any plans to update the Grizzly Bear Park? It needs to be more interactive for kids. There is too much open space and no barbecue or toilet facilities. Across to you, Phil, for a response.
Yeah, thanks, Fab. Look, yeah, so we are doing a bit of an overall landscape review at Mount Atkinson, and part of that is reviewing the Grizzly Bear Park as it is now. So look, if we do make any future changes or amendments to that park design, we'll definitely keep you guys updated. So we'll send out any comms on any changes to that park if available. Back to you, Fab.
Oh, not a problem. Thanks for that, Phil. Another highly requested for information question coming your way. When is the future primary school going to open and the high school? If you have any insight on that, over to you, Phil.
Yeah, good question. Good question that I'm sure many of you are asking. So with the primary school, we've had the state government reach out for further information from us on the site. So we've submitted that information to them for their review. So we expect that we'd hopefully be able to announce an opening of a primary school, government primary school in sort of 2023 or 2024 at this point in time. And then as for the private primary school and private secondary school, so we're in talk with a few providers who are quite keen to get on site. So once we have something locked in with one of those providers, we'll definitely update you guys as soon as we can, because we're excited to get them on the ground as well. Back to you, Fab.
Problem. Thanks for that, Phil. Next question. Are there any childcare facilities planned for the area? And are there any community services set up to support young families? Over to you, Phil.
Yeah, another great question. Thanks, Fab. So as you guys would have heard from Mark, Edmund Rice actually operate on site at the moment, providing a whole host of services to the community. So they're on site at the moment, so you can find them at the homestead. So I would implore you guys to reach out to Mark. Mark's a super friendly guy. I'm sure he won't bite, so he'd love to say g'day. And then also, as I mentioned previously, City of Melton announced that they did receive $800,000 of funding for a child and community centre, which will be located near Stage 13. So that one, as I mentioned, will deliver sort of a kindergarten and some prenatal and childcare services there too. So we're expecting that to be sort of a construction commencement in 2023 at this point in time. But as we start to get close to the date and confirm something, we'll send something to you guys as well. So back to you, Fab.
No problem. Thanks for that, Phil. Another highly requested question. What is the status of the Mount Atkinson train station? Across to you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Fab. Another contentious question, which I'm sure you guys are all interested to hear about. So look, this one is still with the state government for their review. So our understanding is at the moment they're still undertaking a feasibility study as to when they'll be able to deliver it. So a lot of that will come back to the catchment sizes in the area. So as the estate and the larger areas grow, those sort of numbers will prompt the bring forward of those the train stations. So again, once we have some more confirmed timings or any updates from them, we'll forward them on to you guys as soon as we hear it. Back to you, Fab.
Thanks for that, Phil. I'm sure a lot of the residents will be happy to hear that, there is some traction going on there with the train station, which is, it's always good. And as Phil mentioned, as we get some further information on that, we'll be more than happy to pass it on directly to the community. Next question. What do I need to do with my front nature strip tree? Do I need to water it or prune it? Across to you, Phil.
Thanks, Fab. Yeah, so with the streetscapes, they're actually looked after by Stockland, so there's no pruning or trimming required. They are actually watered as well as part of that maintenance period that is undertaken on all the streetscapes. So look, in summer when it warms up, a little bit of water won't hurt, but ultimately you guys don't need to undertake any further care for those trees or streetscapes. Look, we'll look to send another EDM with sort of a note on how to care for your tree if necessary. But yeah, as it stands, just a little bit of water when it warms up. That's all. Back to you, Fab.
Thanks for that, Phil. Next question is a bit more serious. We've had a number of reports of illegal street racings going on. They've almost destroyed the asphalt on Grand Boulevard. What actions are you taking, or can we take, to make the dangerous activities stop? Across to you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Fab. So this is another good question. So look, first and foremost, whenever you guys see this kind of behaviour, we would implore you to contact the police, as it is sort of a danger to the wider community as well. So obviously the safety of our residents is super important to us as well. So again, we do have security cameras throughout the estate to capture this sort of behaviour, as well as a security guard who patrols particularly on Grand Boulevard. So look, we'll be looking to forward that on as an item of note to them to make sure they're keeping a keen eye on it, so that we can prevent it going forward. But if they persist, look, in future we can look to facilitate a resident info with the police, local police in the area, to see what we can do about it as well. Back to you, Fab.
Cool. Thanks for that, Phil. Next question. I think you've already touched on this earlier, but when is the cafe opening at the new sales centre? Across to you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Fab. So yeah, as I mentioned, there is actually a cafe that will be at the Vision Centre overlooking the new playground as well. So look, we're talking to some operators and they're keen to get on site. So look, as soon as we have an update and we've signed someone up, we'll let you guys know as soon as we can. I think we're all keen to have a freshly brewed coffee on site at Mount Atkinson. Back to you, Fab.
Thanks for that, Phil. I'm sure a lot of the residents are happy to hear that. I think a last question for the night before we wrap it up. The estate is still under development. However, despite this, there can be quite a lot of traffic build-up in and out of the estate. Are there plans to increase the number of lanes on Hopkins Road as well as Greggs Road? Across to you there, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Fab. So look, in terms of roads within the development, Grand Boulevard works have been ongoing. So we've completed the Mount Atkinson portion, but the portion that connects to neighbouring Grandview Estate is yet to commence. So that's looking to commence later this year. So once that's up and running, that'll ultimately replace Greggs Road. But in terms of other roads, look, it is a Vic Road's responsibility to sort of control the traffic. So look, we can look to work with them to make the roads as safe as possible and work on the congestion if apparent in the area. So yeah, look, any changes to upgrades and developments we'll also send through updates on. Back to you, Fab.
Not a problem. Thanks for that, Phil. You know, I guess that sums up our night, and that concludes it. I hope we have been able to provide you all with, the answers and updates that you, the community, have wanted. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to our customer care team. Details should be up there on the screen at the moment. Also, if you need any further information from Mark at Edmund Rice Services, please feel free to email us again at customer care team if you weren't able to grab his details during his presentation, and we'll be more than happy to either pass on your question or just provide you his details so you can get directly in touch with them. So yeah, that officially concludes our information session. Like I've said, if you have any further questions or just wanting to know anything else or any issues, please feel free to reach out. And we hope to bring you some more of these sessions in the coming months, just to provide you updates when if anything does come up. So thank you all again for tuning in, and have a good night. I wish you all the best.